And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game called Savannah Park. Now, Savannah Park is a game from two of the best designers in the board game business, Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling. The Kramer and Kiesling team has made some fantastic games. They've also made great games on their own. This here is simply a game where you're flipping tiles over the course of the game and putting them on a board to make the most efficient scoring that you possibly can. And here is how it plays. Each player has a bunch of tiles that are their color on one side and then just normal Savannah color on the other side. And there are 6 different kinds of animals. And so you have a tile that shows 1 of an animal, you have a tile that shows 2 of an animal, and 3 of an animal. There's 1 of those for each of the animals. And then there's 1 that shows 1 of the animal with a watering hole. There are some crossovers, like here you see, for example, is a rhino and a zebra. Here's a crossover of 3 animals with a watering hole. And then you have 1 tile that's every animal and the watering hole. And so what players are going to do is they are going to randomly, each player is going to take all their tiles and just randomly start here and fill in all the open spaces on their board. After players have done that, and by the way, 2 of your animals will go on top of these grass spaces. You can pick which ones. So then players are going to take turns, starting with 1 player, going around a table. You pick any animal. So I might say the single ostrich. Everyone else, wherever it is on their board, grabs a single ostrich. You now can move that to any open space in the board that is either blank, although you can't put it in the one you came from, and you have a little piece to put there to keep track of that. So I can put it on top of the grass, on top of a tree. I can't go on top of fire, and I can't go on top of the rock. So maybe I'll put the single ostrich up here. And then maybe it's my turn. So I'll say, you know what? Let's do the triple giraffe. So I take the triple giraffe, and I'm like, I'm just moving it right over here. And then someone else says, the elephant with the watering hole. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'm just going to move that one down 1 for now, because I don't know where to put that. And you're going to keep doing this until all the tiles on your board have been turned over. Now, at the end of the game, you're going to score for the different things on the board. Using this scoring board, each player will have an explorer here on the scoring board, and you'll be moving it around as you get points. First, you resolve the 3 fires. So you're going to look at the 3 different fires on the board, and if there's any animals on a single fire, if there's any single animals, they're scared away. So this goes away. Double animals, same thing. So there's 3, there's 2 animals, here's 2 animals, they get scared away. Hopefully you would place that doesn't happen, but oh no, 3 giraffes next to the 3 fires, that's gone. Then you score 1 point for every grass that you can see, and you score 3 points for every tree that you see. Then you'll score for each of the animals. Now when you score for the animals, you're simply going to score for, you're going to count the biggest group of that animal. So for example, here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 giraffes. And then you'll multiply that by the number of watering holes. So there's a watering hole, there's 1. So that's 2 times 5. The giraffes are going to give me 10 points. My ostriches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ostriches times, or 8. Ooh, I missed that one. 8 times 1 is, well, only 8 points. The zebras, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But again, 8. And then there's 2 watering holes. So the zebras are 16 points. And so you have to be careful because you could have a big group of animals that don't have any watering holes, and then there's nothing. And you're also trying to get this one so that it's part of several groups, etc. After that, whoever has the most points is the winner. Now, there are more ways to play. The game has a couple variants. It comes with, there's lion tokens that you can have kind of moving around your board. And you also have your own trees. So if you want to, you can play on the other side of the board, and you set everything up. And there's even a few setups that they recommend that players play with to put the fire and the trees in different spots. The game comes with boxes for each of the different groups. They're little tuck boxes to put all the different things in. And I actually don't mind this at all. At first I was like, you don't need these, but you know what? They're nice, and they're also a nice way to be able to pull the tiles out randomly when you're putting them out on the board. Now, I will say I'm not super thrilled with their coloring because they chose these colors, but when it's time to move the players, moving these and moving the scoring tokens, we found it to be a little confusing because you have gray, darker gray, and then this blue that's somewhere in between them. I wish maybe they had used slightly brighter colors. Other than that, though, I think the game's fine. I like the artwork of the little creatures. The rule book is good. As with all Capstone productions, this one is top-notch. Now, you'll note that at the beginning of this review, I didn't really talk much about the theme. Now, I like the theme of this game where you're going around and taking pictures of groups of animals in the savannah. I think that would be cool to go to the savannah and see the animals. It's one of my bucket list items to do so. But the theme isn't really here. You are making groups. You can be like, ooh, my elephants are together, but it really is just a flip things over. This is in a category of games I call bingo-esque games. We've seen stuff like this before with Tiny Towns or Take It Easy, Take It to the Limit, where one person, or the most popular is Karuba probably, where one person calls out a tile and everyone else puts that tile on their board. In this game, that's being done. You have all these tiles that are on your board, and players will call them out, and then people are taking them and moving them to a new position. But you already have the tiles on your board in this one, so you're shuffling them around. And you're trying to shuffle them in a specific ways so that they score you victory points. And I really like that aspect because you have some control, because on your turn you get to pick the tile that you call, but you're also kind of hedging your bets, hoping someone else doesn't move a specific tile before you want it to be moved, or sometimes won't move one near you. Maybe I'm trying to put my elephants together, so I have my 3 elephant, and I want to put the elephant with the watering hole next to that, and someone calls the elephant with the watering hole out, but I have no free tiles next to the 3 elephants. And I'm like, oh man, now what do I do? Okay, I'll put it one away and then hope I can move this tile on a future turn and then put the double elephant in there. Now, I don't think the game is that difficult. You will score stuff, unless you're just really bad. The fires are there mostly to stop you from putting stuff next to them. I have accidentally done so in the past, putting things on top of those. Although you could even put stuff on top of the trees, a single one, to have it scared away, just so that tree then scores you 3 points. The trees and the grass scoring is kind of a minor thing. I think having big groups of animals, I think the highest score you can get is 10 animals times 3, 30 points. So you can get a lot of points, but then, like I said, the rule book has other ways to play. It has a lion that you can put out on the board, and if you put a tile there, then it moves to another spot, you get a point. I think that's a little fiddly. I wasn't as keen on that. And the alternate boards, they're nice, although I'm pretty happy with just the regular board that exists in the game. It's a simple game. It's not a game that's going to have, I think, deep, complex play, but it's one I think that's really enjoyable because, A, you can talk during it, and all people are doing is calling out a tile. There's the fun of someone, people, there's just a bingo has that general entertainment, like please say this one. Oh, you said this one? Okay, the double lions, where am I going to put that? And I think that can be a really fun mechanism in the game. So this one's very straightforward. The box says 20 to 40 minutes. I think that's pretty accurate. It's 4 players, which I found a little odd because I think maybe that's just a component issue where they didn't want to make the game more expensive than it was, because having more players in this game doesn't really change it at all. It makes the scoring a couple minutes longer. But other than that, and I guess I could see that you would have less control, too, on your board because you're only going 1 out of 6 times. But I would have played this at 6. But as it is, I think it plays really well. 2 players back and forth. You're going to get a higher score in a 2-player game than you do in a 4-player game. But I think a 4-player game might be my favorite way to play it. So that's Savannah Park. Check it out. I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see you next time. Dice Tower Judgment approved.